Hi guys, welcome back to Detective AM. I know it's been a long time since we didn't upload any video, and I really am sorry. There's a lot of things going on here, the isolations, the PPKM, the lockdown, everything is just... It's really hard. We cannot even go to the office, we cannot use the studio, and therefore I am here recording myself in my room. And trust me, the motivations and the focus recording myself in the room is just totally different, and that's why it's been outside of the schedule every time, and I really am sorry. But to mend all the things that we've done, I'm coming with a really bombastic story, and by bombastic I mean it's something that will stuck in your head and make you wonder after you listen to this story. Because ever since I've researched this case, sometimes out of the blue I just wonder what actually really happened to this case. Without further ado, let's just jump into the story. Ari Yani Puspo Arum, whom we call Puspo in this video, was born on 1994, and she was the third daughter in the family. Her parents, Ratna and Kasim, both actually work as a construction business, and they were rarely at home. But nevertheless, Puspo received a lot of love in this family, and everyone almost surely loved her. She's really adorable, she's very energetic, and she had a lot of dreams. Puspo, who loved screens, loved frogs, she actually graduated from diploma in technological industry, was still living with her parents in Kramat Jati. Actually had another dream. She actually wanted to pursue an undergraduate degree, go to university, but she has always been this very independent child who's always thinking about other people. She didn't want to burden her family, obviously her parents, to pay for her tuition fees. So with this dream of continuing her study to university, she knows she needs to save some money and she has to work alone to make her dreams come true. And that's when she decided to apply to a company, an air conditioning company, where she actually got accepted. She got a job and she had to move to another city, because to commute from her parents' house to this company, it takes time, it's just not worth it, and it's more possible and more logical for her to just move near to this company so that she can commute easily, and during weekends she can always go back to her parents' house. So Puspo started to live alone in a cost. It's like a rent room where she actually shared a room together with one woman who's actually her colleague too. So she stayed with one of the colleagues, and when she went to this job, she realized that almost everyone in the company, actually some of them still pursuing an undergraduate degree in a university. Like everyone's actually continuing in the same university. That's actually very close to the company itself. That's not the university that Puspo was aiming for, but because almost all the colleagues went there, she realized that it's actually a really good deal. Like, you went together, worked with them, and then you can go to the same class with them. So Puspo enrolled herself in the same class, in the same university with the other colleague. That's when she finally got everything she wanted. She saved money, she lived alone, she got a job, and she made her dreams of pursuing a university degree come true. Until a fateful day happened. On January 8, 2016, Zainal, Puspo's boyfriend, suddenly called Ratna and told her that Puspo is very sick. She's vomiting blood and he's taking her to a hospital soon. When Ratna heard that Puspo was sick, she was very concerned because days previously, Puspo did tell her that she's not feeling well. So Ratna immediately called her sibling who lived in the same city where Puspo was leaving to go and check for Puspo in the university Zainal was taking her to, because Ratna knows it takes time for her and her husband to reach the hospital, and it's better for her sibling to take care of Puspo first before they finally can reach the hospital. But on the way to the hospital, Ratna suddenly got a call from her siblings who told her that Puspo already passed away. And Ratna couldn't believe what he was listening to. Puspo was sick, she knew, but passed away? It was just not make any sense. It really doesn't make any sense that Ratna and her husband thought that there was a miscommunication. It couldn't be. But as soon as Ratna and her husband reached the hospital, they had a really bad feelings. They saw a lot of police in front of the hospital, and it's just not sit right for them. As soon as Ratna and her husband went inside the hospital building, they met the doctor who attending Puspo, and the doctor was really confused. Guys, I'm really sorry if there's a lot of noise behind me. This building is not good when it comes to soundproofing system. And it was even more shocking for Ratna and her husband when they only know that Puspa was actually killed by someone. It just didn't make any sense because all they knew, Puspa was sick. Now, why the doctor told them that someone killed Puspa? Her father was so mad. He literally smashed the glass in front of him. He was really mad and he couldn't even speak. He just crying on the floor, and he didn't understand what was actually happening to Puspo. The doctor told them that Zainal, the boyfriend, already been taken to the police and being investigated that time. According to Zainal, this is what happened. The night before Puspo passed away, around 9 p.m., he actually tried to call for Puspo, but she didn't answer. So the next morning, he actually visited Puspo's office to look for Puspo, but Puspo didn't even reach the office yet. And mind you, it wasn't even 8 a.m. Zainal was looking for Puspo at 6 a.m. It's just too early. And actually, Zainal didn't have to enter the building. He just need to look for Puspo's green motorbike. By the time that Zainal didn't see any green motorbike on the parking lot, he just knew that Puspo is not at the office yet. And by that time, Puspo actually lived alone because the other colleague who actually initially stayed with her already resigned, and ever since, Puspo lived alone. Back to the story. So when Zainal reached Puspo's room, he immediately saw that Puspo was already laying in the bathroom floor. She was drowned in her own pool of blood, and Zainal was really panicked. He didn't know what happened. Zainal pulled Puspo's body from the bathroom out to the bedroom and tried to lean her body to the wall. And there's a lot of missing holes here. I didn't know who opened the door. Was it locked? Was it not locked? Was Zainal tried to break the door? And that's when he saw Arum or Puspo was already inside the bathroom. There's really no explanations. It was just said that Zainal came into the room and saw that Puspo was already in her pool of blood. So this happened at 6 a.m. But Zainal only made his first phone call around 8 a.m. And the first person he called was not Puspo's parents, but a woman named Hernita. Hernita was actually their mutual friends, and you can say actually the matchmaker, the person who made Puspo and Zainal knew each other. And she was the first person who knew and heard about this news. As soon as Hernita heard about this news, she immediately came to visit Zainal and check on Puspo's conditions. while Zainal himself was actually trying to call and find help. The weird thing is Zainal didn't try to call police. Instead, he went to Puspo's company and asked them to lend him their car in order to bring Puspo's to the hospital. But of course, at that time, everyone was confused. What do you mean you need to bring Puspo's to hospital? What happened? Why do you need a car? Why do you need a company car? Right. And because he needs to do a lot of procedure in order to borrow the car, Zainal finally just left the building and went to his company to ask for his boss to lend him his car. And finally, he got the car he needed, plus the driver from the company. Then only they went to fetch Puspo's and bring her to the hospital. After Puspo was taken with the car, then only Hernita tried to contact Kasim, Puspo's father, and told him this dread news. And I really have no idea why not any of them tried to tell people around them to help, or even call the police or call the ambulance for help. It's just out of my mind. And here we got a witness named Cleaver who lived beside Puspo's room. And he's actually an African citizen. Cleaver witnessed everything, and he even helped Zainal to bring Puspo's body to downstairs and put her inside the car because Zainal himself couldn't afford to lift Puspo's body. So Cleaver was the person who witnessed and really see everything. And the thing that really stuck with me again is that based on Cleaver's testimony, the only person who went to the hospital is Zainal. Hernita actually stayed in Puspo's room, and God only knows what actually happened. The police just suddenly came, and Cleaver had no idea who called the police. As long as we know, Zainal and Hernita was not the person who called the police. So I assume probably people around them, but really have no idea. And when police went to Puspo's room, they realized that there's a lot of missing stuff. The phone, the wallet, the laptop. But the weird thing, the personal laptop is missing. But the company's laptop was not missing, even though both laptops was actually placed in the same place. Like, come to think of it, that's really weird. And that's why police just ruled this as a robbery gone wrong. Like, I really can't fathom why it became a robbery went wrong when there's one laptop was still there, and that's a laptop company, and that's just really didn't make any sense, guys. And for your information, Hernita actually worked in the same company as Puspo. Imagine being the robber when you are taking stuff and you saw there's two laptops, but you're only taking one because you don't want to be greedy. Now let's go back to the hospital. The autopsy result was done, and as they could see, in Puspo's body they found 4 stabbing wounds in the back and 2 stabbing wounds in the neck. And it all confirmed happened in the morning. And there's also scuff marks in both of her arms, showing that actually Puspo really put a fight on this. And again, police was really interested to hear testimony from Cleaver, who lived near Puspo's room. And actually that morning, Cleaver said he listened a conversation between Puspo and a man. He didn't really know who was the man and if the man actually went inside the room or not, but Cleaver confirmed Puspo was talking with someone. And then suddenly Cleaver heard a scream. But the thing is, Cleaver didn't go inside to check what happened. After the scream, actually Cleaver saw there's 2 shadows walking from below Puspo's bedroom's door, and he was actually very concerned, but he thought nothing bad happened, right? And here is what's interesting. Puspo actually heard there is a woman's voice. And actually it does make sense because Hernita was called and Hernita came into Puspo's bedroom. So I guess the man and the woman is Zainal and Hernita. Puspo's father and sibling didn't believe that Puspo was killed by a robber. They believe that something did happen, and a lot of things is just still uncovered. It's the laptop that was not taken, and also there's a key, motorbike key, that was placed in front of the same table and is still there. It was not taken by the robber. Like, motorbike is quite expensive, right? And what's even bothering them, Hernita and Zainal, both of them were really hard to be contacted. The parents, the family of Puspo, they tried their best to contact Zainal and Hernita to ask for what happened, to investigate this matter thoroughly, but both of them suddenly is just unable to be reached. And I understand maybe they are afraid to be suspected, but imagine the family feeling like you want to know what happened, right? At first, Zainal was a potential suspect and probably the prime suspect, but after police interrogated him, police suddenly said that Zainal was not the suspect and he was just person of interest. So Zainal was freed, mostly because the alibi and the witnesses was confirmed. The unfortunate factors in this case was there's no CCTV, there's very limited witness, and even the K9 team couldn't find anything. The cadaver dog could not see anything, find any scent, and it's just stuck. But a year later, on 2017, police told the family that there will be an additional information towards this case. But it just never happened. There's no information at all. Family was really hoping for this follow-up update informations because the last thing they heard from the police said that the suspect actually attended the funeral and had a scar on his face, a mustache, tall build, have a quiet pale skin, and 2 days before Puspo was killed, he was actually spotted in near the area. So actually police had a suspect, but there's no follow-up at all. Who was it and what happened and why police was suspecting this person? It could be a hit miss, but police just, there's really no answer. That's the story from the family, police, and Zainal. Let's hear the story from Hernita. Hernita herself said that one day before Puspo was killed, Puspo was actually called her and told her there's something she needed Hernita to know. And Hernita was waiting, okay, tell me what was happening. But Puspo was very indecisive of telling her and suddenly just told her that, okay, I tell you tomorrow. I couldn't tell you now. And that's it. Puspo was killed then, so we never really know what Puspo was going to tell Hernita. And ever since this case happened, Puspo's father, Kasim, he literally standing in front of the police stations every Thursday just to wait for an update. There's a lot of suspect in this case. First, there's this person who was stalking Puspo for some time. This person, we never really get the name, but according to Puspo's friend, this man actually accidentally met Puspo every time she had problem with her bike. Like one time her motorbike was broken and this man just appeared suddenly and helped her. And actually because of this man, Puspo was moving to a new place and then still got stalked by this man. And police actually already made a sketch of this man, but the sketch was never released. Don't ask me why, because I again don't know. And finally, there's actually one lead. Puspo's cell phone that was missing finally found by the police, but it was being sold in one of the market in Jakarta. So again, we didn't know who sold it. There's a fact though. On 2019, there are 70 homicide cases in the last 10 months and still on investigations. So God, there's something. There's one thing that also really heartening me. Like, it really breaks my heart. Days before Puspo was killed, she actually went somewhere with her father, where they went for shopping in one of a shopping complex. And there, her father Kasim bought Puspo a shoes, and Puspo was actually really happy for these shoes and still keeping it to be wear one day when there's an event. But then Puspo never really got to use this gift, and until now Kasim still keeping these precious shoes as one of her very fond memory. And Puspo's mother Ratna, she actually until now rarely at home because she didn't really want to remember about what happened to Puspo. And almost every time whenever she's sad, she always went to her husband's workplace just to get her mind clear. The last information we had about this case is that the analysis from the laboratorium showed that there's not much of a proof that is sufficient for this investigation. It is still an open case, but there's not much hope. Now you guys know why I told you that this story will stuck inside your head, because there's so much information that was not leaked and it's just mind-boggling me. I really hope that this case will get solved soon, and whatever happened to Puspo will literally came to the surface, because Puspo and her family needs justice, and the person behind this very horrible crime deserves the severe punishment. That just to imagine this person still live freely among us, it's just really sickening and dangerous and break my heart. Anyways, that's all for today's video. Thank you so much for your support, for your help, and see you guys on the next video. If you guys have any case that you guys wanted to know more about that case, you guys can write in the comment section below. And thank you very much. Don't forget to subscribe, like, comment, and follow me on TikTok for you Indonesian listeners. Bye.